So we talking about, so what are some of the beginning steps you would recommend to people to start to develop that knowledge of self and that love for self? What are some of the first things one would do? Go pick up certain books, listen to certain speakers, pull up some old John Henrik Clark um, lectures. Like, what are some of the beginning steps one would take to start their own personal path and journey?
I think the first step is to go within. Looking at the various presentations done by the great scholars, reading the books of the great writers, all of that has its place, Brother King. But the first step is to go within and look at yourself. Develop yourself. Get a strength of conviction of yourself. Understand that, you know, and I speak to young people all the time, and this is one thing I always tell them, because I know that we're facing the pandemic. Brother, I've worked with and heard of young people who are on the brink of taking their lives. There is great depression. And if other cultures are depressed, imagine how African Americans should feel. Because not only are we going through the first pandemic, which is what we call white supremacy, but we're also going through the virus that's called the pandemic. We're also going through so many different isolation things that we have to go through by separating ourselves. And we as a people, we as the African people, are a person-to-person kind of people. We like that connection with other people. And so over the past 2 years, give or take, we have been separated from ourselves and separated from our people. And so the first step that we have to do as we come up out of this pandemic and as we go towards the spring of 22 is we just have to love ourselves. There's so many distractions. They're telling you what your weight should be, what your look should be, how to get wrinkles off your face. You know, people are making money on putting other people down. And so everybody's trying to lose the weight so that they can look like X. They're trying to be able to go here to have a reputation, to buy all this different type of jewelry and the clothing, and all to make us somebody that we're not. Because even the people on all these magazines where everybody's trying to look like them, even they don't look like that. I've heard some of them say that they wish they looked like that.
Right.
We don't love ourselves. We're always trying to change ourselves. And we're willing to spend big money to do that, no matter what it may be. It may be cosmetology with like makeup. It might be hairstyle. It could be food. It could be anything. But when you look in the mirror, you just have to appreciate who you are. You have to truly, you are your own best friend. And in order to be your best friend, you got to give yourself the encouragement that you need to meet the daily demands. It's very simple, Brother King, but it's extremely complex. Because this society has us, for financial reasons, chasing dreams that will never come true. We're trying to be people we were not born to be. Because even if you turned out to look like that, that's not how you were born to be. You were born to look like the person that you see naturally when you look in the mirror. So the first step, and brothers and sisters, if you want the information, I invite you to come to my website. When you talk about the books to be read, when you talk about the different scholars, I've got all of that on my website. It's free. My free e-course and my free study guide. So if you're at the point where you feel that you have now grounded yourself in yourself, you love how you are, you love how you look, and you want some information about, when you speak about the greatness of African people, you can go to my website, www.kabakamene.com. You can download my study guide that has all the books, 44 pages of books. It has different types of themes to study. African origin of the human family, Africans in Europe, Africans in Asia, Africans in America. I got all that up there. But that's the second step. The first step is to go within.
So
And when you look in the mirror, I know there are people look in the mirror. They may not be happy, let's say, with their weight. And they want to control their eating habits, and they want to start to eat the right things. And they look in the mirror and they say, I hate how I look. You should never say that about yourself. You should say, I love how I look, but I deserve better, and this is what I'm going to do in order to get there. But you should never hate yourself. You should always love yourself and believe that you deserve better. And if you can do better, then do it. And do what you have to do. But I go back to the first step because I think this is the most important one. You got to go within. There is no way to get along with anyone outside of yourself if you don't get along with yourself personally. Self-knowledge. You said it, Brother King. Self-knowledge.
So going within, what personally to you, like, what does that look like? That's just sitting down and just meditating and connecting to nature. Like, what for someone may need a deeper breakdown, like what does that even mean for someone that may not really fully grasp that concept?
Wherever you feel safe. One of the things I tried to do as an educator and as a person, even as a husband and father, you make your home a safe place. You make yourself a safe person that people can trust. And that they believe that whatever conversation that you may have with them, your response is looking out for their best interest and you're not trying to get over on them. The concept of safety. Go where you feel safe. Do what you feel safe in. There are some people that can decide, well, you know, I think there's a certain room in your house that you just feel comfortable in. Where you can spend that time to just think. Because that's really what you're doing when you're going within. You're thinking. See, brother, I try to keep it very simple. Because I think that we're living in a world that makes a lot of things complex.
Right.
But the simple fact is you go within. Go where you feel safe. Some people meditate. I meditate. Some people don't. If you don't meditate, and if you don't feel safe meditating, don't meditate. If you like to daydream and just dream. But the one thing you can do is to call those ancestors who have moved on. They are no longer with us on the physical level. Identify them, call them. Always call those that you may not know their name. You know, when you go back 18 generations, there's a chance you don't know who they are. You don't know who those great, 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 great ancestors are. But they still exist in you. Identify them. I don't know your name, but I'm calling on you too. Think about the things that you feel good about that you do. Build on your divine gift, whatever it may be. See, this is one of the good things that came out of the pandemic. Because a lot of people had to shut down work. A lot of people were put out of jobs. And these folk were made to find a way to be able to survive. And these folks started surviving and come to realize I'm making more money like this than I was when I was working for the slave master.
Right.
And they're saying, I ain't going back. I ain't going back.
Yeah.
I can make more money on what I'm doing. And what happened was you were forced to find that in you. You didn't necessarily choose it. The situation altered the cases, man. When this came through and everybody had to go in their homes and nobody could go out and the jobs were shut down and some people went on virtual, there's a lot of jobs couldn't go on virtual. There's a lot of people say, look, I ain't got the money, I can't pay you. but you still have rent to pay, food on the table, whatever it is that you have to do.
Right.
Pay for
Absolutely.
your insurance of the car. Well, how am I going to do it? You were put in emergency mode and you found a way to support yourself. And so I think that these are some of the things that you can do, but keep it simple. Because when we make things complex, sometimes it becomes overwhelming.
Hmm.
And after a couple of months, just like when people go on a diet, they want to lose weight, but they don't do it from a deep place. And they depend on this method or that method, and they're paying all this money for this. And as long as they're doing that, they're forcing themselves to do what they should do. But the moment they get off that, a lot of times they go back eating double compared to what they were doing before they went on whatever thing they did.
Hmm.
If you want to lose weight, love yourself and understand that moderation is the key.
Hmm.
That's the way it is in anything. Whatever you do, moderation. But when you become addicted, what you do isn't the problem. Why you're doing it is the problem. Because some people could be addicted to drugs, alcohol, food, sex, and that means that they have no control over their desires. Their desires control them.
Hmm.
Moderation in everything in life. Ma'at, balance, harmony. And if you could understand those principles, and if you understand that no matter what happens, everything is going to be all right eventually, you just got to work through some things.
Right. Right.
It's,
Right.
it's just the way it is.
Yeah. So you raise a great point. Like it's like the deeper I look into anything, some of the stuff that always looks like the